Hey everybody, Andy here. Let's talk about The Experimenter. Experimenter, the Stanley Milgram story. The film stars Peter Sarsgaard and Winona Ryder. It is directed by Michael Almereyda. As usual, I'm sorry if I pronounce these names incorrectly. It is a drama that runs 98 minutes. The film was released October 16th, 2015, and right now has an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. Alright, The Experimenter, the story of Stanley Milgram. So basically, that's what this movie is. It's the story of Stanley Milgram's professional career. If you don't know who Stanley Milgram is, he was made famous from his controversial, maybe unethical experiments on obedience in the 1960s that he performed at Yale. He also did some experiments at Harvard, which led to his 6 degrees of separation concept, which, is the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon sort of thing. But going back to the obedience test, this is what made him famous and which made a lot of people angry and, called him unethical and stuff like that. So what there would be two people. One would be a tester, the other one would be the person taking the test, the testee. And the person taking the test was actually in on the experiment. He was one of a professor or someone working with Stanley Milgram. And he would be in a separate room, and the tester would ask that person questions. And every time he got one wrong, he would shock the testee. But he really wouldn't be, because the person in the other room, you couldn't see them. But the tester would actually think he was actually shocking this person. And every time he got a wrong answer, the voltage would go up. And the person would be yelling in the other room after a while because the shocks would be supposedly unbearable. But all this was really not happening. It was just really happening to see what the tester would do. Would he stop doing the test? Would he continue shocking the person? Would he, whatever. Stanley Milgram was just trying to figure out what would happen. And what he found out was 65%, I think 65, maybe 75, maybe 70%. I think it's 65%. So 65% of the people would actually go through with the entire test and shocking this person in the other room, even though they were yelling in pain, screaming in pain, just because there was a scientist in the room telling the person to continue with the test. Which was very surprising, and a lot of people, I think, did not like this concept for, many reasons, but the main reason was because I think there was a Nazi that was found in hiding at this time, and he was on trial and all that sort of stuff. So these experiments of obedience and having a higher ranked person tell you to do something even though you know it's ethically wrong, you know that you shouldn't be doing it. People did not like that concept, that idea, because it made the Nazis not look as bad. At least the lower ranking, military, the lower ranking officials, it made them look not as bad because other people were telling them to do these things, so they did them. So this experiment was, a lot of people did not like it. It was very controversial. But basically that's what this movie, that's just what the main part of this movie, that's the main start of it. Like I said, he did the 6 degrees of separation. They talk about that. They talk about his whole career and as he goes on and further in life and other experiments he does and books he writes. And there was actually a play written on his obedience experiments that he reluctantly agreed to, and I think he kind of regretted it. And the lead actor, Peter Sarsgaard, is, I'm sorry, I forgot his last name for a second there. He does great in all his movies, but he did exceptionally well in this movie, if you ask me. Winona Ryder is also in this movie, and there's other notable actors that have small roles and cameos in this movie as well. Winona Ryder is not so great with, still love her from Edward Scissorhands and Beetlejuice and all that sort of stuff. So I give her a pass. But the rest of the acting in the movie is great. I really like how they have Peter Sarsgaard. He breaks the fourth wall quite a bit, and he will start a monologue and talk to you about what he was thinking, why he was doing these experiments, what he thought about the results he was getting. And it was very interesting that they did it that way. I really liked that concept. You don't see that very often, and I applaud the creators of this movie. I thought it was very interesting. This movie probably is not going to be geared towards everyone. I saw it at my local library. I saw it just sitting there, and I knew about the obedience experiment. So as soon as I saw that, I just picked it up and saw it. I didn't know specifically who Stanley Milgram was, but I did know about these experiments, and they're pretty popular. Most people probably have heard of them or something like them. They're probably not as popular as the Stanford prison experiments, which were done, about 10 years later or 15 years after this. But either way, it's very interesting, and it's very interesting to find more out about Stanley Milgram and the rest of his career. It was a very good movie. I liked it, and I recommend you see it too if you like this sort of thing, or you're interested in history done in a sort of fictional way. Like I said, it is a fictional. It's not a documentary. It does not claim to be a nonfiction movie. So some liberties may be taken. I'm not sure about that, but as far as I know, this is pretty accurate, and it's a good movie. I suggest you go see it. Highly recommended. The Experimenter. Hey everybody, Eddie again. Thanks for watching my video on The Experimenter. If you liked it, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good YouTube stuff. If not, I will check you later.
I had a girlfriend once who wore a cowbell.